The empty grave, the sky was dark over planet Aurelia. Black clouds floated above the ruined city, and the wind carried the smell of smoke and silence. War had ended months ago, but the land still looked broken. The once shining capital now looked like a graveyard of steel and ash. Captain Alara marched slowly through the old military cemetery, her boots making soft sounds on the cracked stone path. She wore a black coat, long and heavy with medals pinned to her chest. Her face was calm, but her eyes were tired. Tired from years of war, tired from waiting, and most of all, tired from losing him. Rows of graves passed her by. Some had names, others didn't. Most were just marked with a number. She stopped at one grave near the back. It was simple, gray stone, no flowers, and a name she could never forget. Commander Jace Rowano body was ever found. No clear death report, only a broken message from his ship, then silence. Officially, he was listed as killed in action, but Alara had never really believed it. Not fully, not deep inside. She knelt down by the grave and touched the cold stone. "You promised you'd come back," she whispered. "And I should have waited longer. I gave up." Her voice cracked. Tears fell from her eyes, landing on the stone. She wiped them quickly. Soldiers were not supposed to cry. But she wasn't just a soldier here. She was a woman who had loved a man now buried in an empty grave. "I forgive you, Jace," she said softly, "for leaving me, for not saying goodbye." The wind blew harder. It whistled through the metal trees nearby. Somewhere far off, a machine buzzed and died. Then, she heard something. Footsteps. Slow. Steady. Coming from behind her. She froze. This place was quiet. No one ever came here. She turned around quickly, hand moving to the small laser pistol hidden under her coat. A figure stood a few steps away. Tall. Broad shoulders. Wearing a long dark coat. Face covered in shadow. "Who are you?" she asked, voice sharp. "This is a private site." The man stepped closer. His voice was low. Calm. And, strangely familiar. "You found me." Alara's heart stopped for a second. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. She knew that voice. She had dreamed of it for years. "Jace?" she said. He took another step forward, and the light hit his face. It was him, but not exactly. His face had changed. Not just from time or war, but something deeper. His eyes were no longer fully human. They glowed faint blue, like stars, and small silver lines ran under his skin, near his temple and jaw. "You died," she whispered. "They said you died?" He looked at her, eyes soft. "I almost did. They tried to make sure of it." She took a shaky breath. "What happened to you?" "Not here," he said. "Not yet. But I had to see you first. Before it begins." "Before what begins?" He looked around. "They're watching. We don't have much time." She stepped closer, confused, scared, but also something else. Hope. "Are you really Jace?" He gave a small smile. "Ask me anything, only he would know." She stared at him, searching for the truth in his face. Then she asked, "What did you say to me before your last mission?" His smile faded. "I said, if I don't come back, don't look for me. But if you do, I'll be waiting," she gasped. It was true. He had said that. Only once. Only to her. He took another step forward. "I'm sorry I didn't come back sooner." She wanted to hug him, scream, cry again. But her body felt frozen. "Jace, what did they do to you?" His voice lowered. "They changed me, made me into something else. But they made a mistake. They let me remember who I was." She blinked, still trying to understand. He looked over his shoulder. "They're coming. We need to leave. I'll explain everything, but trust me, humanity isn't safe. And I know what's coming." Before she could answer, a strange sound echoed in the sky, like a distant hum not from any human ship. Jace looked up. "We have to move now." Ilara stared at him one last time, then nodded slowly. Together, they walked away from the empty grave. The man who returned. They walked in silence. Ilara kept stealing glances at the man beside her. Jace Rowan, once the most fearless commander in the human fleet, was now something else. His steps were calm but too smooth, his breathing too controlled. He moved like a man used to gravity that wasn't Earth's. They left the graveyard and entered the ruins of the old Space Command Center. Broken walls, shattered glass, and burnt-out lights welcomed them. Jace led her to the basement, a place once used for secret meetings during the war. As the heavy doors closed behind them, Ilara finally spoke. "Tell me everything. No more games." He turned, looked at her with those strange glowing eyes, and nodded. "I didn't die in that battle," he began. "The Varn took me." Ilara froze. The Varn. That name still sent chills through every soldier's spine. An alien. Empire older than any human record. They came without warning, attacked without reason. They didn't want land, didn't take slaves, didn't send messages. They just destroyed. "You mean they captured you?" Ilara asked. "Yes. My ship was damaged. My escape pod was pulled into their war cruiser. I thought they'd kill me, but they didn't. They studied me. They experimented." He paused. His hand touched the side of his neck where thin silver lines glowed faintly. "They put something in me," he said. "Machines. Memories. Parts of themselves." Ilara took a step back. "Why?" He looked into her eyes. "They wanted a translator, a bridge. Someone who could understand both species. But we were at war. Why would they want peace?" "That's just it," he said. "We were never at war. Not really." She frowned. "What do you mean?" Jace sat down on a broken chair, his voice low now. "The Varn don't see war the way we do. They saw humanity as a virus, fast-growing, emotional, chaotic. They attacked us not to win, but to slow us down, to test our limits." Ilara shook her head. "That's insane." "Yes," he agreed, "but to them, it's logic." The silence between them was thick, the kind of silence that presses against your chest. Jace continued. "They used me to study human emotions. Love, hate, pain. They downloaded their knowledge into my brain, their language, their science, their fears. And somewhere in the process, I stopped being fully human." Ilara whispered. "Are you still you?" He smiled sadly. "I don't know." She looked away, trying to process it all. Then he added, "But that's not the worst part." Her eyes met his again. "They're coming back," he said. "Not with ships, with something else, something old, something buried." "What is it?" she asked. "A signal. A code. Something that can reprogram minds. They call it the hush. Once activated, it spreads through communication channels, makes soldiers forget why they're fighting, makes leaders stop thinking. It turns entire planets silent." Ilara's face paled. "Why are you telling me this?" He stood. "Because I'm the only one who can stop it. But I need your help." She stared at him, unsure. He was Jace, but also not Jace. Part of him felt familiar. The way he spoke, the way he looked at her. But something inside him had changed. He no longer moved like a soldier. He moved like a shadow of what he once was. Then she asked the question she had been holding back. "How did you find me?" He hesitated. "I never lost you." He reached into his coat and pulled out a small round device. It projected a blue hologram. A memory, Ilara's face years ago, laughing during a quiet moment before battle. Her voice echoed softly in the room. "They took this from my mind," Jace said. "They let me keep it, because it made me stable." She watched in silence, her heart aching. "So what now?" she asked. He turned to the metal door. "Now, we run. They found us." Boom. The door behind them exploded. Sparks flew. Shadows moved in the hallway beyond. Tall, thin shapes with armor that didn't reflect light. Not fully Varn. Not human either. Jace grabbed Alara's arm. "They call them the Nullborn. Half machine. Built to erase people like me." She pulled out her pistol. "You brought them here?" "No," he said. "I escaped them. They followed me. They want to erase the memory of what I am." Lasers burst through the air. The wall behind them cracked. Jace pressed a button on his wrist and a secret panel in the floor slid open. "We jump," he said. "Jump where?" "Underground. Old tunnels. From the Resistance days." She hesitated. He looked at her again. "Trust me." After one more breath, she jumped. He followed. As the tunnel closed above them, the Nullborn entered the empty room, and the war began again. The hidden Wartha tunnel was dark, narrow, and wet. Old lights flickered above them, struggling to stay alive after so many years. Alara moved quickly, her boots splashing through shallow water. Jace close behind her. She couldn't stop thinking. What did he become? What was chasing them? And why did he say humanity was in more danger now than during the war? After almost 30 minutes of silence, they reached a small underground shelter, once used by resistance fighters during the early days of the Varn invasion. Dusty screens lit up slowly as Jace touched the power core. Machines groaned, woke up and filled the room with a low humming sound. Alara sat down on a broken chair, her pistol still in hand. "Start talking," she said. "No more half-truths." Jace nodded. "After I escaped the Varn, I didn't come straight back. I needed to know what had changed, and what I saw wasn't victory, it was something worse." He tapped a console showing a map of the galaxy. The Varn disappeared without a final battle. They just stopped. Not because we scared them, but because they saw something coming. Something older than them. Alara frowned. "Older than the Varn?" Jay zoomed the map in on a region near the edge of known space. This area was marked uninhabitable by our own fleet, full of black holes and dead stars. But the Varn knew better. They called it the sleep zone. Because something ancient sleeps there. Alara leaned forward. "What is it?" "Not a species," he said. "Not a weapon. A signal. They called it the quiet engine. It's not alive. It's not dead. It's just waiting to be heard." Alara shook her head. "You're saying this signal can control people?" "No," he said. "Not just control. It rewrites them. Their thoughts, their emotions, their loyalty." She stood. "That sounds impossible." "So did faster-than-light travel once," Jace said. "But we built it. So did mind storage, clone soldiers, even time delay bombs. This is just the next level. The Varn tried to destroy the signal once. Failed. So they turned their war on us. To stop us from waking it." She paced the room, trying to process it all. "So now it's awake?" she asked. "Not fully," he said, "but close. And it's already reaching out. Through forgotten tech, old satellites, human servers, even dreams." "Dreams?" she echoed. He nodded. "Soldiers near the signal have started going quiet. No resistance, no emotion. Just silence. They become calm. And then, gone." Suddenly, an alert flashed on the console. "Incoming transmission. Classified military channel." Alara moved toward it, but Jay stopped her. "Don't answer that." "Why not?" "Because they're looking for me. And if you connect, they'll find you too." But Alara's military instincts kicked in. "If it's command, they'll help us." Jay shook his head. "No, Alara. They won't. The High Council knows what's coming, and they've already decided to hide it. They want me erased." Alara stared at him. "You're saying our leaders know the truth?" "Yes," Jace said. "They made a deal. If they stay quiet, if they control the information, they survive." She stepped back, anger rising. "How do I believe you?" He didn't answer. Instead, he walked to a metal box in the corner, opened it, pulled out a data crystal, glowing faint blue. "This is a memory shard," he said, "direct from the Varn core." He placed it on the console, and the screen flickered. An alien voice spoke, translated in broken English. "The human leader agreed. 1 planet will fall. 10 will remain. Control the noise. Block the signal. Bury the bridge." Then a second voice. "We accept. Keep the war alive. It hides the truth." Ilara's face changed. All her years of loyalty, her medals, her training, none of it mattered now. We were fighting. A lie. "Not a lie," Jay said. "A cover-up." She turned to him. "What do we do?" Before he could answer, the lights blinked again. This time not from power failure, but from hacking. The base was being accessed remotely. Jace ran to shut down the feed. "They're tracing us." "Who?" she asked. "Both sides," he said. "Command and the Nullborn. They're afraid of what we know." Suddenly a voice filled the room. "Captain Ilara, this is High Command. Surrender the fugitive and you will be cleared of all charges." Another voice followed, mechanical and cold. "Unit J. Rowan, cease movement. You are property of the Quiet Order. Deletion is scheduled." Ilara aimed her pistol at the screen. "We're not surrendering." Jace looked at her, surprised. "You still trust me?" "I don't know," she said. "But I trust myself. And my gut says, we're on the right side." He smiled faintly. "Then we run again." "No," she said. "This time, we fight." The memory test. The desert was silent. 2 moons hung low in the sky like watching eyes, casting a pale blue glow across the sand. A cold wind swept the ground, covering their footprints too quickly. Ilara and Jace had been running for 3 days now, moving at night, hiding during the day. The High Command had labeled them traitors. The Nullborn were still tracking them. And the signal? The signal was spreading. Somewhere deep inside her, Ilara still didn't know if she was running with a man or a machine. They reached a broken research station, abandoned after the Varn War. It sat between 2 hills, forgotten and quiet. Jace pushed the heavy door open, his hand glowing faintly. The locks responded to him like they knew his touch. That made her more uneasy. "You've changed," she said as they stepped inside. "I had to," he replied. She followed him into the control room, dust thick on the screens. He moved quickly, waking systems, scanning files, restoring power with codes no human could remember. It was impressive. It was also terrifying. She stood still. "We're not going anywhere," she said. Jace looked at her. "What do you mean?" "You said you're still human," she said, "then prove it." He frowned. "How?" "There's a test. Memory lock recall. We used it during the war to check for shapeshifters and deep cover spies. If your memories are truly yours, you'll pass. If they're programmed like Varn Tech, you'll fail." He nodded slowly. "All right, do it." She opened her pack and pulled out a small silver box, the size of a fist. She placed it on a metal table. Lights on its surface blinked. "Sit," she ordered. Jace sat. Wires extended from the box and latched gently onto his temples. "Ready?" she asked. "Always." The box began to hum. Then it asked the first question in a robotic voice. "Recall your earliest memory of Ilara." A pause. Then Jace spoke. "Snow. Training base on Mars." She was yelling at a superior officer for giving poor rations to the new recruits. Everyone else was afraid. She wasn't. I remember thinking, she's going to start a war before we ever leave Earth. Ilara smiled slightly. That was true. Recall, last private moment before final mission. Another pause. We were in the maintenance bay. I was fixing a drone. She sat beside me and said, "Don't try to be a hero." Then she kissed me and walked away without looking back. Ilara's heart tightened. That was true too, but the machine wasn't finished. Recall dream sequence initiated during Varn captivity. Jace's face changed. His body tensed. I shouldn't remember that. Answer, the machine demanded. Jace closed. His eyes. They made me dream. Of fire. Of cities burning. And you standing in the middle of it with no eyes, no mouth. You were silent. But somehow I could hear your voice. It kept saying, "Don't wake the engine." Ilara's hands clenched. She hadn't heard those words before, and they weren't part of his past. The machine paused. The lights turned. Red. Human memory. 87% match. Foreign code detected. Ilara raised her pistol. What does that mean? Jace didn't move. It means they couldn't change everything, but they still left something inside me. Can it be activated remotely? Yes. What will it do? I don't know, he said. But it's tied to the signal, to the hush. The machine beeped once more. Foreign code signature. Awakening. Jace gasped and grabbed his head. His eyes flared bright blue. His fingers dug into the metal table. Ilara, get away from me, he shouted. What's happening? They're trying to use me. Like a speaker. Suddenly his mouth opened, but the voice that came out was not his. Cold. Smooth. Alien. This unit is ready. The voice may now spread. Silence is near. Ilara fired a warning shot beside his head. Get out of him! But Jace didn't move. The lights flickered. Machines turned on by themselves. Screens filled with static. Ilara grabbed the memory box and smashed it. Sparks flew. Jace collapsed. Everything went dark again. A few seconds later, he opened his eyes. Back to normal. Breathing. Heavy. Did I hurt you? He asked. No, she said. But you scared me. He sat up, ashamed. They built me to carry the signal. A walking virus. Then why haven't you triggered it before now? Because you were with me, he said. They needed me alone. Vulnerable. Broken. Ilara paused. You said you escaped them. I did. But what if they let you go? That question hung in the air like poison. What if this isn't your fight? She said, stepping back. What if you are the weapon? His voice shook. Then help me disarm it. They stared at each other. In that moment, she didn't know what he was anymore. But she did know one thing. The quiet engine had already started whispering, and the war they thought was over had only just begun. The betrayal, the mountain base, was buried beneath layers of frozen rock and forgotten history. It hadn't been used since the early Varn raids, before the fleets, before the peace talks, before the silence began creeping into minds. Ilara and Jace had made it there after 6 days of running. No light reached this place. They were alone, or so they thought. Inside, the air was cold, dry and heavy with dust. Ilara's boots echoed as she walked down a long hallway lined with old war banners. Jace walked behind her, quiet, distant. Since the memory test, he had become more withdrawn, like he didn't trust himself anymore. She didn't blame him. Neither did she. The base was operational but silent. No soldiers, no cameras, no sound, just cold metal and ghosts of the past. They found the central war room and powered it on. Screens blinked to life, maps of the galaxy lit up, and old classified files began loading. We'll hide here, Ilara said, until we know what's next. But Jace wasn't listening. He was staring at a wall, blank and metallic. Slowly, he placed his hand on it. It glowed. A hidden door slid open. Behind it, rows of pods filled with motionless bodies. Human. Maybe. Or once human. What is this place? Ilara asked, stepping closer. Testing. Jace whispered. Early experiments. Humans mixed with foreign code. They were trying to find the perfect hybrid. She looked at him. Like you? He nodded. No, she said, stepping back. This isn't just a research base. It's a lab. A voice echoed behind them. Correct. They turned. A woman stood in the doorway, tall, wearing a black military coat, clean, perfect posture. A face Alara recognized immediately. General Cora Miles, Alara's old commander. Once a war hero, now a ghost in a place that shouldn't exist. "You're supposed to be dead," Alara said. "So are you," Cora replied, walking into the room. Jace's body tensed. His hands twitched, something inside him reacting. "Don't," Alara whispered. To him. "You shouldn't have come here," Cora said. "This facility is classified above all levels. No one was supposed to find it, certainly not you." "Then why are you here?" Alara asked. "Because I never stopped fighting the real war." Cora gestured to the pods. "We were working on a solution. Before Command gave up. Before they sold us out to the Quiet Engine." Alara stepped forward. "So you knew?" Cora nodded. "I knew. I was ordered to bury it. I disobeyed." She looked at Jace. "But he is the last piece. The only one who survived full integration." "Integration?" Alara asked. "He's not just carrying the signal," Cora said. "He is the signal now. You think you've been running? No, he's been spreading. Every step you took with him, every place you stopped, he's left traces." Jace's eyes widened. "No, that's not true. I fought it." "You think you fought it?" Cora said. "But you're a carrier, Jace. Just like we made you." The room spun around Alara. "You made him?" "After the Battle of Drift Sector," Cora said. "We recovered his body, broken but alive. We handed him to the Black Labs. They turned him into a messenger, a warning, a weapon, and we sent him back to the Varn." Jace staggered back. "You used me? You volunteered?" she replied. "You just don't remember." Alara raised her pistol. "Why are you telling us this now?" "Because it's time to finish it," Cora said, pulling a device from her coat. "A kill switch. If he activates, fully humanity falls, but this stops it." Jace's chest rose and fell rapidly. "You're going to kill me?" "No," she said. "You're already dying. Every minute the signal grows inside you. We're just speeding it up." Alara stepped in front of him. "You're not doing this." Cora raised her hand. Soldiers appeared in the hallway, 6 of them, armed and silent. "This isn't your decision. Any more, Captain?" Alara looked at Jace. He looked at her. No words. Just pain. Just trust. Just betrayal. Then everything exploded into motion. Alara fired first, hitting the nearest soldier. Jace moved faster than anyone, his body reacting before thought. He tackled 2 soldiers to the ground, knocking weapons away. Blasters lit up the hallway. Cora pressed the kill switch. Jace screamed. He dropped to his knees, light pouring from his eyes, mouth open in silent agony. Alara grabbed the switch, crushed it beneath her boot. Jace collapsed. The soldiers were down. Cora was gone. The base alarm started blaring. Self-destruct sequence initiated. "We have to go," Alara said, grabbing Jace's arm. "I'm not stable," he said, barely conscious. "I don't care, I'm not leaving you." They escaped through the maintenance tunnel just as the base exploded behind them. Fire lit up the desert sky. They didn't look back. As they moved under the stars again, Alara whispered, more to herself than to him. "They betrayed us both. Now we burn their lies." And in the distance, far beyond the stars, something ancient opened its eyes. The signal had heard its echo, and it was listening. The truth, the stars above them were unusually quiet. Jace lay in the back of the stolen hover transport, barely breathing. His skin flickered with blue light like circuits running beneath the surface. Alara drove through the empty valley, cold wind rushing past the cracked windows. The desert was silent, but inside her mind, a storm was growing. He was changing. Again, and this time, maybe for good. 2 days passed. They found shelter in the ruins of an old Varn listening post, buried deep in the ground, hidden from human maps. Alara had found it years ago during a covert mission. Back then, it was just a curiosity. Now, it was their last hope. She dragged Jace inside and activated the healing bay. The alien machine scanned him, humming quietly. Strange lights moved across his body. She watched, powerless. He wasn't waking up, but the machines were responding to him, like he belonged. On the third day, he opened his eyes. His voice was weak. "Where are we?" "A Varn structure," she said. "Old tech, but it still works." He nodded, sat up slowly. She didn't speak for a while, just watched him. Then finally she said, "You need to tell me the truth. All of it." He nodded again. This time he was ready. They sat in the central chamber, surrounded by walls covered in glowing alien symbols. Jace touched one, and the room changed. The air shimmered. A projection appeared in front of them, planetary maps, timelines, and memories that weren't his, and yet somehow they were. Before humans. There was something else, he began. "The quiet engine," Ilara said. He nodded. But it wasn't always called that. The Varn once called it the cradle. It was made by an ancient species, long gone. A machine designed to do only one thing. What? Preserve peace. She stared at him. How? By removing conflict, removing difference, removing choice. He looked at her. The engine sends out a signal. Soft at first, calming. It spreads across planets. People begin to lose the will to fight. Their memories fade. Emotions slow down. The anger goes first. Then the joy. Then the fear. Until there's nothing left. She whispered. That's not peace. That's erasing life. Exactly, he said. But to the creators of the engine, it was the only way to stop war, forever. They had destroyed themselves with fire and machines, so they built this and vanished. And the Varn? She asked. They found it. Long ago. They studied it, feared it, fought against it. And when they learned it was starting to wake again, they went to war. Ilara sat in silence. You said humanity was never the target, she finally said. Because we weren't, Jace replied. But we were waking it up without knowing. Through tech, through deep space scanning, through artificial minds. And now? Now the engine is awake, he said, and listening. Through me. She stood up, anger in her voice. Why you? Why not someone else? Because they needed someone connected, he said. Someone broken. Someone who had felt war, love, pain, guilt. Someone whose memory could carry both human and alien data. They chose you, she whispered. No, he said. I chose it. She stepped back. What? He looked up at her, guilt all over his face. Before the final battle, I made a deal. With Varn scientists. I thought I could end the war by becoming the bridge, by carrying the engine's code into human space and finding a way to control it. He touched his chest. I thought I could contain it, rewrite it, make it safe. Ilara's hands were shaking. You lied to me. I didn't remember, he said. Not until now. This place triggered the rest of my memories. The projections shifted again. One showed Jace, strapped to a table, machines pouring data into his mind, his body being rewired from the inside out. Another showed the Varn leadership, warning him not to go. If you fail, one of them said in the recording, you will not become a savior. You will become the signal itself. He turned to Ilara. You were right, I'm no longer human, not fully, and I can feel the hush spreading. Inside me, tears filled her eyes, but she held them back. Can we stop it? He looked at the machine core glowing in the center of the room. Maybe, but only if I go deeper. Inside the engine. Become part of it completely. Maybe from the inside I can reprogram it. And if you fail? He didn't answer, because they both already knew. Outside, the sky began to flicker. Stars blinked out, one by one. Communications went silent across 3 colonies. Entire fleets lost contact. And in the void, beyond known space, something began to move. The quiet engine had fully awakened, and it was calling its messenger home, The last choice, the galaxy was going silent. One by one, human outposts stopped sending messages. Fleets went dark. No warnings, no distress signals. Just quiet. The hush was no longer a theory. It was real, and it was spreading faster than anyone could stop. And at the center of it all was him. In the deep core of the ancient Varn facility, Jay stood before the gate. It wasn't made of metal. It wasn't built by hands. It was a structure of light and memory, a doorway into the signal itself. Alara watched from behind, heart pounding. He had made his decision. Once I step through, he said, I don't know what happens next. I might disappear, or become something else. Maybe not even Jace anymore. She stepped closer. Then don't go. He looked at her. If I don't, everyone we've ever known, everyone still alive, loses who they are. Not through death, but through silence. They'll forget their names, their loves, their fears, their stories. He touched her hand gently. We are human because we remember pain. We remember joy. We fight, yes, but we love too. And that's what the hush doesn't understand. Tears filled her eyes. You'll be alone in there. He smiled softly. Not if you remember me. The facility shook. The engine had noticed. Then its voice whispered through the walls. No sound, just thoughts. Your time of chaos is ending. Peace will come. Release the noise. Alara aimed her blaster at the gate. What if I destroy it? Jace shook his head. Then the signal finds another way. It always does. It's not a machine. It's an idea. You can't kill an idea. You can only change it, or become it. Then take me with you, she said. He smiled, but this time it was sad. You still have something left to protect. The gate opened, a swirl of stars, voices, forgotten dreams, and something else. A presence waiting for him. He stepped in, and everything stopped. Jace's body collapsed to the ground, lifeless. But inside the signal he stood, not as flesh, but as thought. Around him memories flowed, millions of them. The first fire, the first love, the first war. Humanity's entire story danced in code and light, and standing in the center was a form made of nothing and everything. The engine. You are the bridge, it said. You have the code. Your kind destroys itself. We offer silence. Jay stepped forward. No, he said. You offer emptiness. The engine pulsed. Without war, there is peace. Without choice, there is nothing. Jace raised his hand. From within his own memory, he summoned it. Not a weapon, but a heartbeat. His heartbeat, his mother's smile, Alara's voice, his soldiers screaming, laughing, bleeding, loving. Real moments, real pain, real life. This is what it means to be human, he whispered. Not silence, but sound. The engine paused, then trembled and shattered. In the real world, across the galaxy, stars lit up again. Ships reconnected. Voices returned. Tears flowed, and the hush was gone. Alara sat beside his body. Cold, still, but peaceful. No more circuits glowing. No more light in his eyes. Just stillness. Then a soft sound. His fingers twitched. She gasped. His eyes opened. No glow, no code, no whispers, just brown. Human. He smiled. Did we win? He asked. She didn't speak. She only kissed him. Years later, the story of the one who stopped the silence was told across every world. Some said he died. Others said he became the signal itself. But Alara knew the truth, because every night, she heard his voice beside her. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw him standing at the edge of the stars, still guarding humanity's right to feel, to fight, to love, and to remember.